Somebody around that. It's coming tonight. Oh, yeah? Are you on the agenda? That's right. You're on the agenda.
I mean, really.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call of Alderman.
Heisler. Here. Kinsella. Here. Holt. Schmidt. Here. Ridgewitz. Here. Randall. Here. Anthony. Here. Davidson. Here. Silsby. Here. Hayden. Here. Seibert. Here. White. Here. Galletti. Musgrove. Here. Orlett. Here. Schneider.
Here. Okay, I don't believe we've heard from Alderman Galletti. He might be coming in late, but I haven't heard from him yet. I don't believe he's called in today. Roll call of department heads.
Police Chief Clay. Here. Fire Chief Langston.
Here.
City Attorney Garrett Horner.
He's coming.
Kim Vaughn.
Here.
Royce Carlisle.
Here.
Jamie Matford.
Here.
Tim Gregowitz.
Here.
Jim Schneider.
Here.
Leander Spearman.
Here.
Emily Foltz.
Here.
Chuck Schaefer. Bob Sabo.
Here.
Debbie Belleville.
Okay, Garrett's on his way. He just called from another meeting. And Chuck's out. They're changing shifts with the night shift with some of the snow plow today. They're trying to wind it down. And you guys were coming in at 7, so he was talking to them about any icy spots, so he should be coming late. Okay, with that, with those roll calls, I'd ask you at this time to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have no public hearings this evening. At this time, time, I will open public participation. I will ask that you be recognized, then approach the microphone once you're called on, give your name and address, and keep your comments to about no more than 3 minutes. Anyone this evening would like to participate in public participation? The gentleman in the first row.
Rick Brown, 125 Lucia Lane, Shiloh, Illinois. Notice in your packet tonight is an ordinance concerning the Freedom of Information Act. I believe that's in direct response to the complaints that have been turned in the city, and a way to, that the city has explained to the public access counselor that they can alleviate some of the problems with tardiness and not getting information at all. Something else in your packet tonight is about the destruction of some documents at the housing office. You know, we've had some documents that have been destroyed here. The Zoning Board of Appeals minutes for about 8 years illegally. And some of those minutes were asked for in legal proceedings, i.e. Bethany Place, and they were denied because they said they couldn't find it. You know, some of these records that they're asking to destroy, you know, destruction of records is kind of like the death penalty. You know, once you stick the needle in the guy's arm, it's over, even if there's evidence found that the person is not guilty. And the same thing with these documents. Now, you've got like 6 sets of documents here that the housing office wants to destroy. The number 34, the sick and vacation time, I could care less with. The cash receipts doesn't bother me because what's that's in and deposited and whatever, that's over with. There's so much other information here that should be kept. Electrical licenses, electrical and mechanical permits, administrative files and correspondence, building, plumbing, and sign permits. You need to keep that stuff. I don't think that the burden of having a few more boxes stuck around in a closet somewhere is as big of a problem as if some electrical contractor or somebody who said they were an electrical contractor licensed with the city does some electrical work that takes 12 or 13 years to fester and then burns the house down along with his wife and child, so that he would need that in some kind of a legal proceeding. I don't think any of this data needs to be destroyed. I think on the contrary, these types of documents, like zoning board minutes, should be kept perpetually. That even if they have to find some place to put them in plastic bins and store them somewhere, they should be preserved. Many times when I have requested documents, they have suddenly disappeared. Now, that's a systemic problem with this city. But to go in and, even if the state says that you can get rid of these documents, I think it would be good for the public, for the city to keep these documents. Thank you.
I believe the gentleman behind you has his hands up next.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is William Freeman. I live at 5500 Nora Court in Belleville. I'm here tonight to ask the council not to approve the $22,000 TIF money for the First County Bank in Swansea for the project on South Illinois Street. I'm not opposed to that project. Obviously, it would be a good thing for the city to do so. As a matter of fact, I think it's a wonderful thing for the city to have that facility fixed because it looks pretty bad. But for a financial institution to come to the city of Belleville when they have almost $390 million in assets, to come to the city of Belleville for $22,000 for a handout to fix the sidewalk and infrastructure is just pretty hard for me to take. You know, the other evening when I was here at the Finance Committee meeting, ironically, it was discussed of how to retire the checkbook for Wagner Buick. Now, Wagner Buick is no longer Wagner Buick. I don't know where that money's going, if it ever's going to come back. But you know, the city council red flag that General Motors threw up for an underperforming dealership to cut that contract, for the city council to continue to give them taxpayer money seems pretty foolish. You know, the city of Belleville decides who are the winners and who are the losers. Well, one could really say that that particular winner turned out to be a real loser, didn't it? Mr. Mayor, you continue to say that TIFs do not raise property taxes. They do. Research that I have done, that the city of Belleville tax rate has gone up about 70% since 2004. In 2004, the $100 assessed evaluation was 92.6 cents per $100 of assessed evaluation. And today, it's $1.67. A homeowner that has a $100,000 home in Belleville is paying $220 more today than they did in 2004. It is time to stop this insanity. And if there's anyone here from the First County Bank, I have this to say. I'm going to borrow a quote from President Kennedy. Ask not what the city of Belleville can do for you. Ask, what can you do for the city of Belleville? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Gentleman in the first row. Please note before he speaks that Alderman Gliddy's here at 11 minutes after 7.
Hi, Michael Hagberg, 701 Centerville Avenue. I had just attended the Streets and Grades Committee where there was discussion as to whether or not items passed upstairs should appear on this evening's City Council meeting to be passed. And one point that wasn't made is it's not for the benefit of the aldermen who attended that meeting to know what's going on. It's for the benefit of the aldermen who did not attend that meeting to be able to find out what was the discussion about a particular item and to be able to get that result before having to vote on it a mere 15 or 20 minutes later. The other is, Mayor, I've dealt with many city departments, and overall I'm very pleased with the data that I received from all the departments except the mayor's office. 2 weeks ago, I asked about the status of the videotaping. You promised to call Charter the next day and get back to me. To date, I have not received any notice as to what the status of the video recording is. Taxpayers spent $16,000 for the equipment sitting in the corner. We'd like to see that this be used. I'm hoping that your promise to record city council meetings doesn't fall into the abyss along with my request to fix the sidewalks on East Washington Street. As you know, I've been researching TIF 10 notes and discovered that there's a missing page on note 4. This missing page details how the taxpayers went from owing nothing to owing $8.9 million. Having this page would help me confirm my belief that the taxpayers, overall the taxpayers owe an additional $2.6 million more than the $18.7 million as stated in the audit. How is it that your administration hasn't placed a priority on finding this missing page? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Rose Wilson, 322 West I Street. How do I get to 95 years? On December 16th, I was here and had some questions in regards to the vault being open to a citizen. And in the public participation, once it was ended, I couldn't speak anymore. And some of the things came to my attention through just re-watching the video, and I wanted to wait until the minutes were published. And this is now in our clerk's own words, and I tried to be very kind. Alderman Davidson requested an answer to the opening of the vault to somebody from the general public. And our clerk explained that he had opened it to Mr. Hagberg. After the meeting, it was suggested that I in some way instigated Mr. Davidson to ask that. I have spoke to Mr. Davidson maybe 20 words in the whole time. He's been here, hello, Merry Christmas, that sort of kind of thing. In no way or form am I responsible for the questions he asks. However, it was stated here that Mr. Hagberg had went through the vault and viewed some TIFF files. 1 TIFF file, 2 TIFF files, all TIFF files. And it was stated here that he could obtain it through a FOIA. He should have obtained it through a FOIA and not the other way around. For one reason, Mr. Hagberg is on the party ticket with Mr. Cook. Could really be an ethical question of political favoritism if somebody wanted to make a case. Then it goes on. Then it goes on.
Okay.
I would like to finish this time.
Okay, but let's don't.
Then it goes on that the information then was scanned into the computer and emailed to Mr. Hagberg. Official documents emailed when you don't know how many servers that email is going through. It's improper. Well, an issue was made about emails, a simple email about an election pending, and there was a big uproar. And
That was a false use of city.
Okay, let's.
same thing.
Okay, you have a minute yet, Rose, wrap it up, but let's let her have a chance. Let's don't, it's, you know, she's not defamed
The
anybody.
responsibility, 8 months does not make somebody an expert. In that time frame, I think it would have been very prudent for the protection of the city and for yourself to ask the city attorney or the FOIA officer. Under no circumstances should anybody be let in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in public participation? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Debbie Val Steele, excuse my voice, from Grandview Neighborhood Association. And I brought a little thought for the day. If you think America's political system is broken, think about this quote. America is growing from the bottom up, with local governments reaching across party lines and partnering with local civic organizations, charities, churches, law enforcement, and business leaders. This is from the Brookings Institute, and it signifies a new trend in our country that could produce significant changes in the future and validates the need for more cooperation among our leaders and citizens and more civility in our council. And I wanted to address the vault dilemma. When you think of the vault, you think of a safe place to store confidential information and documents with limited access to designated officials on a need-to-know basis, which follows a strict written protocol of security with diligent enforcement. Now, I think Mr. Cook did not mean to break a protocol, though his useful exuberance made a misstep. We need to get over it, and I'm sure he understands this now. Let's start again with a new understanding of the absolute need for following all protocols for the city government, including all HR rules and regulations. Thank you very much.
Anyone else this evening would like to speak? Yes, sir, in the back of the room.
Planner 318 South 29th Street. They must be expecting some trouble here tonight. Half the police forces are back of the room, it looks like. Scott Air Force Base controls too much property. There's a guy that wants to build a building. The building's been there for years, and he wants to open it up and provide 200 jobs.
Okay, Mr. Planner, we've been working on it. We're getting ready to please try to keep it to Belleville topics.
Well, this is all St. Clair County.
I know, but we don't vote here on St. Clair County Courthouse decisions.
Okay.
We don't have any control over the airport, which you bring up many nights, and we don't have any authority over any of those decisions. So anything to do with the city of Belleville business, we're happy to hear you for your 3 minutes.
Okay. Ruler Foods Company, you know, whoever provides the funding should have some say-so in where it's built. Now, they want to build it out by the old bowling alley. I think they probably want to tear the bowling alley down, so why can't you build it on the south side of town where there's probably more of a demand for a grocery store? And these bike trails that seem to go to nowhere. Now, if you had a bike trail that went out to the high school, kids could ride their bikes out there for a destination, but or somewhere. But these bike trails just seem to wander all over the place and not really go anywhere. And Lindenwood, the edges of Lindenwood's property look pretty trashy. You might want to get those Lindenwooders out there. Instead of going out and buying Centennial Park and picking up trash, you might want to send them out to pick up their own trash, especially along the railroad tracks. It blows off their parking lots and clutters up along the railroad tracks area there between Rochinamel and West Main in that area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, ma'am.
Mary McHugh, 10503 West Main. I just have a quick question. I guess one was answered that when the vault was allowed to be open to the public, there was tips, obviously. Was there 1, 2, or does that matter? And my second question is the vault now an open book for the public?
Let me ask if there's any other public participation. Hearing none, I'm going to close public participation. The vault situation will be answered tonight, coming from a recommendation for an ordinance from Ordinance Committee pertaining to the Freedom of Information ordinance right there. It deals with, in there is language that deals with the proper way for employees only to deal with. And that was adopted by the committee there, and I believe unanimously by the Ordinance Committee. So that'll be dealt with tonight. And there was a couple of things I kind of lost track of here, but we'll go for that for now, and we'll answer other things if there's something that comes up as we go along. We now close public participation. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to appoint Erica Knight as Administrative Assistant to the Mayor's Office. We've had that position vacant for a while. We had a couple part-time people, and I feel very comfortable about this appointment. Motion by Alderman Schmidt. Do I hear a second? Second. Second by Alderman Kinsella. Any discussion? Yes, sir, Mr. Hayden.
Is this the person that's taking Aaron's?
Aaron took Sharon's job, as you all knew, during the budget process last year, and this position's been vacant. We had a couple part-time people. One went back to school, and I never even got a chance to bring the name forward. And the other one was here for a couple weeks and immediately notified me that within a couple months had a job opportunity that was going to make more money and better herself. And so it's just the way it goes. So this young lady she has started 4 days ago. She's here tonight, but has a bachelor's degree, as I told you, and certainly has impressed Aaron and I with our interview process, and been talking with her many times with her skills and her technology and her communication skills.
I just want to state for the record, John, I've made it very clear that in my mind we have other needs that are money to go, especially again, as I've stated numerous times, we need more police on the street. I don't see, and I campaign on the pledge of not needing 2 secretaries. Some would argue that we have 3 now, but in this case, I'm not voting on the budget of the position. I'm voting on the person, and in lieu of that, I will support it.
Okay, so Anybody else have a comment or question? Yes, ma'am.
I also have a problem with just the priorities. I know we did approve this in the budget, but sometimes things change. We change our budget every time we meet. I was very frustrated that on the same day I see quoted in the newspaper as saying we've had a net loss of 10 people in streets and sanitation because people were complaining about snow removal, and yet at the same time asking for an additional position in your office.
Well, let me just tell you this. First of all, there's a few people here who know from the staff and from people who are up at my office regularly. Some of you are complaining, and you heard some complaints again tonight, that we're unable to get stuff turned around quickly enough. This person has a full-time job with the phone and emails, correspondence, mail, scheduling, answering you all when you need to know about different questions. And we haven't had a position. Aaron, who's my executive assistant, is also the deputy liquor commissioner, also serves and has to check on FOIAs, especially pertaining to the mayor's office information. Also works as by ordinance, is the secretary of the Police and Fire Commission. Also is a person who works with us with researching with, constantly working with the city attorney on relaying ordinance data, information that we're drawing up, helping me with various developers, assisting, in my absence at times, from making welcomes and speeches if I can't be someplace at the last minute, to a host of other things, helping research projects for me. This is not new. We've had this person now since 2005 or 6, and I will tell you, when you look at the amount of work that as a city chief executive officer that goes on in that office, 2 people some days is not enough. I will tell you, I'm not asking for a third person, but I will tell you that this position is a must. And many of you have been critical of the timeliness and turnaround from responses from my office, and you can't have it both ways. You can't not staff the position and give me the tools we need, and then also criticize when things aren't as timely as you want them. So I'm asking tonight for a vote on this position to be filled, and I believe it's very important and very necessary.
Is Sharon's position still budgeted out of your?
No, she is budgeted this past year and will be again next year. She's managing all the marketing. She's, and in answer to Mr. Hagberg, which you are right, you did talk to me. I just got an answer from Neil Gibb, I believe it was on Friday. There is still some equipment that they're missing. I told him I was very disappointed and I was catching heck. And he's assured me that they're going to narrow down exactly, but it's a couple more weeks before Charter can get the linkage, and I don't know the proper term, but there's some equipment that they're missing. But Sharon will also, as you remember, part of the deal was, we talked about, somebody has to be available to work with Lindenwood for the programming, and this position, this Lindenwood and Charter possibilities is endless as far as other departments being able to produce things for the television station, etc., for education, for promoting the city, etc. She's also working with their radio station now out there. She's also helping by documenting things that help us with grants, as far as photos and everything. She's in charge of the newsletter. She edits it and writes the articles. She's also in charge of, let me think for a minute, what else we got here as far as marketing. What's that? The website, which is the biggest thing. The website today, by all of your votes, you all knew that we had to have somebody, and we get criticized still, if she's off a day, that we don't have something immediately turned around and updated on there. And so the website is taking up the vast majority of her time. But I'm really proud of the website, and I think it's finally coming in to doing what we had hoped. It's a great tool. It's slowly, because the website's being used more, is starting to help reduce some of the phone calls to our staff now, which is what we had hoped. So Sharon's job is just multiplied in so many directions, but it's at this council's direction that we have the website, and that we wanted cable TV, and that we're doing all these things, and the newsletter, etc. So And she's also my link with Kathleen Lindard, tourism and marketing. So that position is a full-time job. And so Erin's inherited everything else. And it's a great undertaking on a daily basis. If you've not been up there compared to some offices, those girls work very hard. And I'm very proud of them, those ladies. So at this time, yes, ma'am?
The only thing is, we talked about this in Streets and Grades and that. Here we are I'm sorry. Here we are gonna vote on this. Why are we voting on it? She's already working.
By the ordinance, I have the right to appoint somebody for a temporary period, up to 30 days. I brought it here right away. But we're trying to get going on this position. We've worked it out now. And I don't know, she has a bachelor's degree. She's certainly qualified. Other than the fact...
My question is, why are we voting on, if you've got the power to do it, you've just done it.
You didn't, okay, I'm bringing it here for ratification. If the council, the majority of you turn it down, then it doesn't happen. But there wasn't, there was not this much discussion during last year's budget.
Another reason to revamp the way we do budgeting.
No.
Picture.
Okay, is there anybody else who will call for the vote? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti.
Aye.
Musgrove.
Aye.
Orland. Schneider.
No.
Ayes have it. Poor Erica. She is here. I will ask her to stand. Some of you haven't met her. Erica, keep smiling. And she's here. Thank you very much. Welcome to local government. Okay, at this time, I do want to make an announcement. In case I forget at the end of the meeting or some of you would leave after executive session. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, there's going to be a press conference in the lobby pertaining to all the entertainment for our 200th anniversary. I hope if any of you get a chance to come and support the committee and the city on this important announcement. It's going to detail all the different musical groups and entertainment. You've heard tidbits maybe, but it's going to be completely, I think, for the most part, explained tomorrow. I think it's very exciting. We've had some wonderful sponsors already step up to the plate. And keep in mind, with the exception of the gala, which is March the 8th, everything else is free. All these other activities are totally free of charge throughout the year. And it's a wonderful way to celebrate the culture and the history of this great city and to really bring people together and to renew our volunteer spirit and that energy that Belleville has so positively. So if you can come tomorrow morning at 10:30 in the conference, in the lobby out here, please do. I'm even going to go get donuts. So it's here, donuts and coffee. Come early. It'll be a brief. I thought that might get you, Ken. It'll be a brief press conference, but I think you'll be enlightened, and I would hope some of you can come by. All of you stop by. So didn't want to forget that. At this time, we have the reading of the minutes from the last city council meeting. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve and file the meeting of the city council meeting minutes of January 8, 2014. So moved.
We have a motion by Alderman Heisler, second by Alderman Schmidt. Do I have any additions or corrections?
Yes.
Alderman Schneider.
I spoke of the word of the month, and that's not in the minutes. And who put these buttons on our thing? Where
It
these
was
come
not
from?
me.
I believe we can thank Miss Mary McHugh for that.
Oh, okay, there.
Well, I'll tell you, as I said last month, the last city council meeting, this word of the month is you're picking on certain ones.
No, we're not.
I don't want them.
I didn't get one, Mary. I'd like to pack of buttons.
Here, I thought I had some, so I
Okay. Okay.
No, I'm not done.
Yes, ma'am.
This word of the month does not pertain to everybody. As I spoke earlier, I sent Mr. Harner an email.
there's trustworthy, working together, and all that, there's a lot of words. Ward 1 decided to have a town hall meeting. Working together, they did not consult me or anything about it. And I think the most of the thing that has me upset is knowing that some of the aldermen and department heads have the codes to get in upstairs. Like tonight, I was sitting waiting to get in because the doors were locked. Gabby said it, punched it right in, opened the doors, went in. I finally got the code from Dean. It should not have come from Dean. It should have come from you, Mayor.
Why didn't, like I told you today on the phone, which was the first time you called me in a long time, and I told you that's great.
I sent emails, and I used
Okay,
the
but
option key button.
hold it, I'm speaking now. When you did call me today, 90% of the conversation, you yelled at me.
My
And that's,
voice
now we
is
talk
loud.
about character, that's not respect. We could have a dialogue. But I will tell you, I told you today, if you'd have just asked me, any one of myself or my executive secretary would have given you the code. We changed the code this spring or summer. Occasionally, oddly enough, sometimes the mayor gets a few threats. And when, you know, there's some people, and when the police chief seems to think that some of these threats might be a little bit something that we should take heed, on several occasions, we changed the code. Because it is a little bit of security of at least stopping someone that maybe the girls can call the police before they would just barge on in and be standing next to me in my office. And that used to happen quite regularly before we had those doors. And Terry Delaney insisted that we put those doors in. You were never ever, it was never intended, but if you didn't ask all these months, I didn't know. I don't advertise. I'm not sending out an email with the code on it. Because it's FOIA accessible then. I mean, if you didn't ask, then I'm sorry. I can show you the code tomorrow if you come up. But
Well, that's what you could have done from the beginning. You called 2 or 3 aldermen at a time up and gave it to them.
you know what, Alderman,
More than once I've given you the code.
It changed.
it's not changed since May.
That's the first time you gave it to me. And it shouldn't come from
the
you, it should
appointment.
come from the mayor.
That's, okay. This is ridiculous. We went all through this morning for 20 minutes. I listened to you yell, and now we're doing it again today. Alderman Holt.
I appreciate your remark that you don't want to send it as an email because then it is FOIA, so it's basically worthless. I
Right.
understand that. I will say though, I do share Alderman Schneider's frustration that some of the aldermen knew and some of them didn't. And just ask you to kind of make it a point if you have.
I will tell you who originally was shared with were the committee chairman. Because they're usually up here first in many cases, and they run the committee meetings.
Okay, that's reasonable. I would tell you, my frustration has been, as Alderman on the Historic Preservation Commission, that occasionally Eric is not here as the staff member, and I've had to wait in the hall because I did not have the code to get in.
Well, and quite honestly, we can talk about that, but you know, I don't know anywhere where you have executive offices that are totally have public access these days. And I think we have to maintain, well, and maybe, but once again, you talk about something that costs money. Maybe when we eventually we do some of City Hall remodeling, maybe we'll be able to get into that system. Maybe that's a possibility. Can we go? Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I have a question that actually has something to do with the minutes.
Okay.
If everybody would turn to page 10 of the minutes and look at the third group from the bottom. It starts with following executive session. I'll wait for your time. Page 10, third group from the bottom, it starts following executive session. Down below, next paragraph says, Alderman made a motion. According to my notes, that should be Alderman Kinsella. And seconded by Alderman Schmidt. The names were left out, okay? Now, if we go down, it should be, yes, case 1. Kinsella and Schmidt. If we go down to the next, right underneath the next line, dotted line or printed line, it said Alderman blank. That should be Alderman Schmidt. Made a motion, seconded by Alderman Kane. At least that's what I had in my notes. And this is just, it happens that somebody missed this, but I think that's one of the things we have to have in our minutes is the correct person that made the motion. So I recommend that those changes be made.
Do the two of you who made and seconded the motion accept those changes? Dallas, you don't have any reason to believe that that's not correct?
No, that's correct. We looked at it today. Mr. Consola was nice enough to come in.
Okay, so is there any other changes to the minutes other than those two? Do you have another one?
I just wanted to point out that the thing about the character, when we talked about the character women, the one that Alderman Schneider questioned, that is in the minutes on page 3.
Okay. I didn't, I'll be honest with you, I did not read them as thoroughly this time as I do most times, so I believe that. I just I don't have it in my memory. Okay, with all those notations and adjustments to the minutes, I would ask for, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of approving the minutes and having them filed signify as saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now on to claims payroll. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to pay the claims, payroll, disbursements, so moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Heisler, do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Consilla, do I hear discussion? Roll, yes, sir.
Yeah, Mayor, I think I have a couple of notes here. Trying to locate it.
Okay, can I ask, and you may not know the answer, Jamie might, is there a way to number the claim sheet pages? I know she's printing out different funds.
Jamie, did you hear that question?
No.
Is there a way to print, to number the claim sheet pages?
I can see if our software can do that, I don't know.
They're already numbered.
But
They're
then
numbered?
you jump to this one, and there's another page 1, and another page 1, and another page 1.
Payroll receipts and disbursements.
No, it's under different tips. Start a whole new thing.
Why don't you give her an email or give her a call and we can look at that. Okay, Mr. Randall.
Thank you, sir. It's under police department, fire department, the general fund. Noticing that this, on a lot of the various departments here, Dave Schmidt Truck Service.
Fire department uses Dave Schmidt significantly. The police, the mechanic we have here at City Hall is probably 99% tied up with just 70-plus police vehicles we have. So the fire department, fire chief, am I correct? Most of your repairs go to Schmidt Trucking?
We have to have a diesel mechanic for
Yeah, because all the fire trucks, almost all are diesels.
Okay, and the same then for streets?
Streets has to, for example, we have a couple guys who do some of the basic work in the garage that we're blessed to have, but anything that gets into any technical thing or any certain type of machinery for those big trucks, we had some hydraulic lines freeze up over this last snow, they had to go out to Dave Schmidt.
And health and sanitation, I noticed that a lot of these things, each of them is over $5,000.
Well, a lot of those trucks, anything basic with them is not cheap. I mean, Chief and I talked the other day, you look at a fire truck, I don't care if it's a set of tires or a set of brakes or what is it, Chief?
They have to be certified to work on fire trucks too. In fact, most of St. Louis County rigs come over here to Dave Schmidt and work on. There's not many in the area that are certified.
Thank you, Chief.
So it is very expensive. With those with those questions hopefully answered to your satisfaction, we have a motion, we have a second on the claims, correct? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White.
Aye.
Galletti. Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. We have a housing report of cash receipts for fiscal year 2013 and 14. What's your pleasure?
I move we file these.
Accept and file. Motion by Alderman Consilla, second by Alderman Heisler. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to receive and file signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to oral reports. Alderman Rujewitz.
I make a motion to approve the demolition bid from Hanks Excavating in the amount of $29,000 for demolition of 1008 Court Lane and 3313 Devonshire and 125 North Michigan. This is with the public health and housing.
We have a motion by Alderman Rujewitz. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Consilla. Do I hear discussion? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Aye.
Unanimous. Move forward to the next one, Mr. Ridgewood.
I also make a motion to approve resolving that the City of Belleville Health and Housing Department request permission from the Illinois Office of Secretary of State Local Records Commission for record disposal.
Motion by Alderman Brugewitz, do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Schmidt. Alderman Hayden.
Yes, we discussed this, Your Honor, at the Health and Housing Committee in fairly good detail. Wanted to ask if the city attorneys had a chance to review this.
The disposal of the records?
Correct.
Yes, I had. I reviewed it with Mr. Sabo, and I drafted the resolution that's contained later in the agenda.
Looking through this, Your Honor, I really, the sick leave, vacation time request, I don't have no problem disposing of that. Administrative file, since that last meeting, and that's kind of one of the points I brought up tonight at the Streets and Grades meeting, when we approved things at 6 and then discuss at 7. After you get done with a meeting, you can start thinking about things. My concern is getting rid of these permits.
Mr. Sabo, first of all,
Now, I know we briefly discussed it at the meeting, but
how far back does it go? When is the dates of these things been back, how far?
The electrical license renewals, we want to dispose of 98 through 2005. Electrical and mechanical permits 92 to 2008. Building, plumbing, and sign permits from 1955 to 2011.
And how many boxes is this, just to give the council an idea?
They should have attached in your packets cubic feet to be disposed of. And it's approximately one paper box size. 2.5, the electrical license, or 17 for electrical, mechanical, and 26 for the building, plumbing, and sign permits.
And Mr. Sabo, you already did have some preliminary conversation with the Secretary of State that these would be eligible for.
Yes, there was a state inspector that came down, reviewed the
He
files.
came down and looked at them.
Correct.
And we've done this before when Ms. Keene was here, and we had some at that time, I think.
Not that I'm aware of.
Or one of the departments did. We know what department we had. Maybe it was Linda Fields did it with some of the stuff that we could. We had to get secretary. We had to get somebody to come down and look. It happened once before.
Your Honor, I'm not questioning, the authenticity of the process, or if anybody's doing anything, wrong. My concern is, and I guess this falls back to the city attorney again, if we have a structure that we issued a permit and inspected that's from 95, that's in this group, and then something happens and they come back to litigate us, saying that we approved this and now they're contending that the permits that we approved, Mr. City Attorney, and this was something that could have caused a risk or liability by disposing of these records. We no longer have the records to defend ourselves. Well, I'm asking you that versus the minimal space that it made to keep those type of things.
The limitations period would have run on a claim like that by then, but understanding your concern, I think it's something we could look at. Certain records, we could consider scanning them if we wanted to. And I think that's something I can work with Mr. Sabo. If there are certain records that there's a concern, we can. This just authorizes the disposal, which the Secretary of State has already authorized. If you wanted to go ahead and approve the resolution tonight, I can work with the staff about some other way to maintain a record of it, maybe through scanning or imaging or something like that.
I would feel more comfortable if we could try to establish, because I understand the need of space, don't get me wrong. I just want, you know, and I understand potential statute of limitations, but still, you know, when you get into legal issues, sometimes, you know, as you know, Mr. City Attorney, things, we can't cover all laws, and just having the records there of what was approved by permits, to me, you know, for a multitude of reasons, is something that we made, and even for the public's best interest. If somebody down the road is looking to buy this building, and they, you know, they want, you know, it's like with the Carfax type thing, you know, show me the Carfax, you know, what is all going on in this building. To be able to provide that information if somebody want to rehab a building, no matter how old it is, it's valuable information if we can find a way to preserve some of that. You know, as it again pertains to permits. The other stuff is, as far as personnel, I see no need to keep it, and it should be destroyed. And Mr. Sable is, you know, for the public's information, has explained the process that it is, you know, shredded and it's done to the proper way to where nobody's, you know, person's, you know, information can be compromised.
Yeah, and I think that understanding that there's a limitations period that applies, and there is tort immunity for local governmental entities with respect to the issuance of permits. Understanding your concern, I would just allow the staff to, I could review it again with the staff. I would still recommend, though, that you authorize the disposals, confirm what the Secretary of State has done, and then we can look at potentially imaging those ones that they should.
With those, Your Honor, made the motion, I'd be willing to amend with the understanding that the city attorney will work with the Director of Housing to look into ways that we can archive those permits.
Who made the actual motion? Gabby? Who made the second? Are you willing to allow them to dispose of all the personnel stuff, and then we'll go ahead and look at that, how we can, maybe possibly scan? Okay? We have a motion and a second. We have that in there. Alderman Randall?
Yes, I have a question. Are we talking about limiting this to permits, or would it include licensing records as well?
It also says general correspondence.
You know, the issue with licensing is they would have since renewed. I mean, the licenses that we're talking about now have already expired. You know, but we could look at that as well. I think the concern is more with permitting.
Yeah, it's the
But
licensing, I guess, we
could easily look at those.
Well, I guess my question really comes down to, if work is done by someone who is not licensed, okay, or the license is lapsed, we're going to depend upon the current licensing then for that particular year? I'm just trying to get clarification in terms of, is there any liability that we might?
No, there wouldn't be any liability. You have tort immunities with respect to the issuance of licenses and issuance of permits and things of that nature, but understanding the concern that's raised, I think we could.
Well, I understand the municipality might have immunity, okay, but if the homeowner, whoever brings suit against the person who did the work, and the person says, well, yeah, I was licensed at the time that I did that work, and yet there is nothing, okay, to show evidence of that license.
Well, they would have been issued a certificate themselves too. It's incumbent upon them to maintain their own licensure. Yeah.
Well, my question really has to do with they're not licensed when they perform the work, and yet they insist that they were licensed at the time.
Well, we'd have to check to a different authority to prove that anyway, because we don't do the licensing. They have to get a state license for plumbing, a state license, you know, for their various things.
So we do maintain our own list of.
We do maintain a list.
That's another point, Your Honor, that Alderman Randall's brought up that I feel, you know, again, we got citizens out there that bought homes and things like that, we may have an immunity, but if we having these records can protect these citizens, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 20 years ago, if something was done wrong,
I'm gonna entertain at this point, for the sake of time, that we table this until the committee and the city attorney and Mr. Sabo can come back with a recommendation of some adjustment to this motion tonight. Do I hear a motion to table this for 2 weeks? Motion by Alderman Holt, second by Alderman Schneider. All in favor of tabling for 2 weeks, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, I don't know that they discontinued their motion. They have motion, and we didn't vote on it, and we just said that we would table it. Do we have to do something with their motion, according to the rules of order? Because Ridgewitz and Schmidt had a motion on the floor.
Well, they can withdraw it.
Oh, they did?
No, they
Thank you.
may.
Okay. All right, thank you. I just,
Okay, good point. Good point.
Your Honor, doesn't a motion to postpone take precedent over?
I think it does, but I'm not
standing
going
motion?
to, sit here and act like I have all the answers. Yes, sir, Mr. Davidson.
Mr. Mayor, did you get my nay? Did I vote nay on that?
Okay, we will duly note, the city clerk will note that. I missed that name.
I've dealt with records for years. There's a schedule, they put a schedule out, these schedules are thought of, there's a lot of thought put into these schedules of what should be destroyed, what should be retained. To keep things for 20 years, just on the off chance that somebody might get sued, that somebody has a license that didn't have a license, I think it's pretty much a waste of time. I think we should follow the schedule that the state puts out and be done with it.
I hear you. Okay. We were on to now Alderman Silsby.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for the local debt recovery program. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert. Do I hear any discussion?
I just don't mind. Oh, that's just a motion. There's no backup. The next thing has a piece of backup, the next thing has a piece of backup.
I found mine, it was stuck in.
3159.
Okay.
It's connected with resolution that's coming later, 3159. I thought so. It's 14B on the agenda.
Here is this one. I had a hard time finding mine. It was stuck in, I guess when they packed it together, it was stuck in another paper.
Okay, so we do have the backup material, and this actually came from Treasurer Hart and went to Ordinance Committee and was approved, so that's where you probably saw it before, Melinda. Is there any other questions? We have a motion, we have a second to approve item 1 under B on page 2 of the agenda. If there's no further questions, roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti.
Aye.
Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. Alderman Silsby.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Web QA Master Service Agreement for Gov QA FOIA applications. So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert. Any discussion on this motion?
I have a question. I'm sorry I'm not in the contract. Is there a way, if you are not happy with how this works after the first quarter, can we cancel it?
Well, we did take out the auto renewal policy. I cannot give an affirmative answer on that, for sure. Mr. Horner could look at it.
You have the ability
Better
to,
answer.
you have the ability to terminate the agreement without cause for 60 days, but because it's a software agreement, you're going to pay the balance of the cost. But I know that.
Mr. Turner brought something that he really thought would help in the sewer bill collection, and after they tried it, it didn't do what they thought it would do. So I would hate to see us caught. I'm excited about this, I think it'll work, but I would hate to see us commit to something that might not.
In speaking with Mr. Cook, I believe that he did see demonstrations and had some interaction with it, so I think you've already had kind of a trial run, is that right?
Yes, very confident.
We have a motion and a second for this request here. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti.
Aye.
Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett. Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderman Silsby.
Motion to approve hiring one police officer immediately.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert. Discussion. Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella. Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. This will bring us to number 84, so this is good. Next motion.
Motion to close the IKE grant Wagner checking account.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert to close out the Ike Grant checking account. Discussion.
I was at that meeting. Can we get a brief discussion again? What does this have to do with Wagner?
Excuse me, Your Honor. It's my understanding that this was a grant from the state that was going to Wagner, but we administered it, so it was just a flow-through thing, and they did, because the state did it, they demanded we have a separate account for that. We're no longer doing that. No action's been on it, so we're just doing away with it.
Right, and then, Jamie?
The grant has officially been closed, and that's absolutely correct with Mr. Schmidt.
Okay, so, okay.
This had nothing to do with the tip agreement or anything else.
This was a separate grant that we were able to work with Wagner on at the time that we all fought together to try to save his dealership. So, sum it up in a nutshell. We have a motion, we have a second to close out this grant. Roll call.
Heisler. Kinsella. Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. Alderman Silsby.
Motion to close the DARE fund and checking account and transfer remaining funds to the police trust fund. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert. Any discussions there? Roll call.
Heisler. Kinsella. Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. And the last one, I think, Phil.
Motion to approve the budget amendments as recommended by the finance director. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman Seibert to approve that particular motion coming from finance. Discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Can you, I wasn't at the finance meeting on that part, so can you explain or move what's?
What were the budget amendments, Jamie?
I don't actually have them in front of me.
Are they on the ordinance or
It should be attached to the ordinance.
So it should be in the packet.
I believe one was for the, to go along with the development agreement for Ben's Craft, buying that land. We had to do a budget amendment because that wasn't in the original budget. I believe a couple other small ones might have been moving on from one account to another. I think one was.
One says sewer plant.
Right, yeah, vehicle maintenance, went over, so they moved some money to different accounts.
Ken?
One recommendation moves $10,000 within the sewer department budget from line item equipment to line item maintenance service vehicles. And that's also going to be talked in item 14A, resolution 3162 later. The second recommendation adds $100,000 to the TIF 17 budget under the line item land, and that will refer to item 14D, resolution 3161, when we get to it later in the meeting.
Okay. Answer the questions? We have a motion, we have a second to approve those transfers as recommended by the finance director. Roll call.
Heisler. Kinsella. Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. Alderman Heisler.
Yes, Your Honor. On the behalf of the Master Sewer Committee, the committee would like to make a motion to waive the sewer tap-on fee for Penn Station subs at 651 Carlisle Avenue. So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Heisler. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear any discussion? Roll call.
Heisler. Kinsella. Holt. Schmidt. Ridgewitz. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Motion carries. Before I go on, I failed to do something tonight. It's nice to see our friend Royce here back. Royce has been out for a little bit. Had a little engine repair done, but he's back and running, and we're glad to see him back at work, and it's good to see you. When I saw Alderman Heister's motion, and dawned on me that I didn't tell everybody how much I think we all agree we missed you, and Randy did a great job while you were gone, but certainly nice having you back, but go slow. Okay, Don, I told him. Okay. Next one, we are going on now to D, Alderman Arlett.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion on behalf of the Traffic Committee to approve a handicap parking with a $250 fine at 720 Union Avenue for the current tenant and personal applicable there.
Motion by Alderman Arlett, second by Alderman Hayden to approve that handicap parking for the applicant only. Any further discussion? All in favor of this motion and have proper arguments drawn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Kinsella.
On behalf of the Economic Development and Annexation Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the development agreement with FCB Bank.
Motion by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Schmidt. Do I hear discussion? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Abstain.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
No.
Galletti. Musgrove.
Aye.
Orland. Schneider.
No.
Ayes have it.
On behalf of the Economic Development and Annexation Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the revisions to the Business Assistance Program.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Kinsella, second by Alderman Schmidt. Discussions? Roll call. I'm sorry.
I was asking if you could just give us a highlight, not details, but just.
May I address that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for quite a while, we've had a business assistance program packet that is handed out to businesses that come to the city seeking assistance if they are expanding or building in the city. And basically, we've done a major update of that. And you've received a draft that shows the original content, and then in red, it is showing the changes. And it's passed our committee. That's unanimously, I believe.
Alderman Schmidt?
I'd just like to say that I commend Eric for all his hard work on this. We did it 3 or 4 months, but we worked on this. He did a lot of it. Great work. Thank you.
Eric and the economic staff, he took the lead on this. Emily and all of them have had many meetings. I know Alderman Randall shared some concerns, all of you. It was a good process. I think it was a good update, and I think we're ready for the vote. Yes.
Under penalties and on page 8, I still am a little unclear what our internal policy is about penalty modifications. For instance, if we say you as a new company are coming in and you're gonna hire 5 people within 5 years, who's going up to you every year and say,
Well, most of that's done in the checks and balances, especially if they're getting any money or funds. They have to demonstrate certain things before we would release any checks or payments. If not, we do our very best between economic development and my office. We do our very best to try to talk about these things, tabulate them, and check up on them to make sure. Economic development has now got an additional staff person, which will probably, hopefully free up some of them to help work on this. But between Jamie and Eric and Emily, any development agreements are reviewed by them, and people have to submit certain things before they get reimbursement.
Oh, I understand. My question is not about the beginning of the process. It's the middle and what may be a bad end of the process that I think we're falling down on.
And we're trying, and as I told you before, we're working as a staff to better track these and to try to get a better handle on all the people, making sure that they're performing from beginning to end. Once again,
Is there any further discussion by committee of working on internal controls, or was this more an externally
This was the information that we're giving businesses. That was the whole intent.
Eric, you want to comment?
In terms of someone who's in true default of an agreement, it's turned over to the city attorney.
Yeah,
for
as
litigation.
soon as we identify that there's a default,
But that's what I'm asking you, is what is our mechanism for identifying?
well, staff, we do look at it. Now, I will tell you, as I told you when staff in every department was at the leanest it's been a few years ago, yeah, when the fingers pointed, a few of them we may have not been on as well. But the ones, first of all, who are getting any money, I can guarantee you, if it was an agreement and that they only got abatement of building materials, tax rebate on building materials, but yet they had to stay in business for so long, et cetera. We question that if we see that they closed. We do, but as we've talked before, once they get the sales tax abatement, if that's the only thing they really got from us, it's really hard to go back and fight that, manpower-wise, or even the state to work with us and do that. But if they're falling short on other requirements that they agreed to, the staff tries to track that. And we're working on, making sure everybody's living up to it. Most of them that you're really talking about are people who got financial, either a rebate or abatement on TIF, a rebate, or they got some type of facade improvement or something after they proved they did the work or whatever. So those are a lot easier to track, and those were, on. But like I said, each case is different, as we tell you all the time, and we're doing our best between economic development and my office at our regular staff meetings we have to go back and try to, if you know of one that you're questioning, please share it with us, and we'll research it. If you got one that you don't think we're particularly wondering what's happening, we can look that up.
Okay, but when Alderman Schneider asked for things, it took 70 hours to gather.
Alderman Schneider, when it came to Wagner, asked for an enormous amount of material. And Eric, what did you have time-wise to put that together, that FOIA?
There were actually two, I think, altogether, and it took me over 100 hours. But I was going into the files and getting back at documentation for agreements going back to 2008, I think. So there were a lot of things that had been, put in the basement and just go through.
And an awful lot of things.
We had some change in personnel in the office, secretaries, some different filing systems, things like that. So plus trying to get on my.
I understand. Having worked for the federal government and having my files subject to the IG so that anybody could walk in and pull anything they needed, it's frustrating to hear that as an excuse.
Well, they weren't my files to coordinate it first, so I had been done. I had been in charge of them. They didn't. But I can't make excuses for other people's work.
Alderman Schneider?
Yes. I have a couple of questions. You mentioned the Wagner name. Am I allowed to ask, was everything settled with that? I mean, everything we gave, I know he no longer owns the business. Did their contract go to Oliver C. Joseph's or?
The Wagner terms and conditions, as everyone's well aware of here, this council approved to front load and finish. Really, that agreement's complete, right, guys?
Correct.
I mean, that agreement is no longer, there's no more loose ends to that agreement.
He paid back all the taxes that we forwarded ahead of time to him. The real estate.
He wasn't required to pay anything back because everybody met all the terms of the agreement.
And tonight we closed the checkbook on the Ike grant, which was really the final chapter of
Okay,
any
I
of that.
sent Eric an email. I didn't do it FOIA as you've asked. You said give him a chance, send an email. So he probably just got it this morning when he came in on Lindenwood. So you'll be getting me, well, not Lindenwood. Well, Lindenwood has the suites now, Econo Suites. Because they didn't stay in business according to the term and the money we gave them.
I'm doing research.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we please get a clean copy of this after it's been updated and so that each of them has a copy?
As soon as it's approved, I mean,
Right.
when
It's
they
going to go up on the website tomorrow.
Okay,
That's
great.
correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Does that suffice, okay? It'll be on the website tomorrow. Okay, I lost track here. Help me out. We have a motion and a second on, I'm sorry. Okay, motion and a second to approve the revisions to the Business Assistance Program. There's no further questions, roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood.
Aye.
Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderman Musgrove.
Your Honor, can I ask, I'm sorry,
Yes.
can we ask the people on the front row to stop talking through the whole meeting? It's very distracting. Sorry to hear
Okay,
that.
it's a reasonable request. Please refrain from interfering with the alderman from hearing and do their jobs, okay?
Okay, Your Honor, I would like to make two motions on behalf of the Ordinance and Legal Review Committee. Just to read one at a time.
I guess you better go ahead.
Motion to authorize issuance of request for proposals for recodification services.
Motion by Alderman Musgrove, do I hear a second? Second. Second by Alderman Kinsella. Any discussion?
I would just like to say that in committee, we talked about this, that there is getting the bulk of it done, but then there are kind of add-ons and.
Could be.
And so we're looking to get a range of prices and they end up deciding some things we can afford, some things we can't.
We're looking for the basic recodification services, but understand some of them might have some ancillary things that they include.
Right,
as
there are some
additional.
specialties, there are some ongoing services.
Some firms may be more pushing certain ones than others. So they will be, but there will be specifications written for the actual specific recodification of the basic ordinances that we currently have. And for the public, many of our ordinances are very, we know, outdated. And you know, I'll give you one example I think is a little bit humorous, but maybe you don't agree. You cannot refuse to serve in a posse. So it's still on the books, and so if the chief calls you, you gotta sit. So those are kind of things that we know we have to get cleaned up and adjusted. I don't I think it also says the chief has to clean the council chambers, but we'll get on that. So, okay, so we have a motion and we have a second to approve the going out for RFPs for the recodification services. Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella. Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. And
Second ordinance, on behalf of the Ordinance and Legal Review Committee, there's a motion to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 3 concerning compliance with the Illinois Freedom of Information Act.
Motion by Alderman Musgrove, second by Alderman Schmidt. Discussion? Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella. Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderman Seibert.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a request of the Streets and Grades Committee, a motion to approve MFP request, MFP fund project, municipal estimate of maintenance for 2014-2015. So moved, Your Honor.
It's 14:15. Please note your packet if you would. That mean your agenda. That was a mistake, and I changed mine right away. But it is, and he said it correctly. Second by Alderman Hayden. Motion was by Alderman Seibert for MFT projects for 2014-15. Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I was under the impression that we did have one truck that would spray the stuff that worked, calcium chloride. And, well, Chuck wasn't there tonight to answer the questions, because in the budget, we're not asking to buy any liquid. Do we not ever anticipate using the liquid?
Chuck will have to, we've done it some, we've had some complications with the liquid applicator clogging up. The liquid has been a challenge for us, and we only got one unit that was limited in size. What they've been doing that's been more effective is being able to send the salt trucks out and pre-treat by putting down salt ahead of time, so that as the snow would fall or ice, that there's already an application of salt on the pavement, and it tends to activate, and it's kept in moisture and been able more easily to keep things slushy.
But the salt doesn't work when, like this last, no, not this last one.
Even
Well, we had that where it was so.
even the liquid brine is very limited when you get
It
temperatures
doesn't.
below zero.
Well, he wasn't there to answer the question.
They were working tonight till after,
Well, that's why I'm
he
asking
didn't
now.
dismiss them until probably about now. And they might still have another crew or so on for slick spots that get, so they've been working around the clock.
So our intentions are we will not be.
I mean, he hadn't requested here, and I think that's because they've been trying it, but they're not getting the results as they are just with putting down salt as a pre-treatment. Okay?
And again, because he was not able to be in committee, do you know anything about the weed killer grass? Are you asking money for that? Or is it possible that he's asking for that under a different fund?
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't ask for any vegetative control.
And I'll be honest with you, we'll have, I'd have to say, I'd hate to amend it, but I mean, it could be amended. It could be that he's got plenty in certain stock.
Well, that doesn't mean at a later date we couldn't go ask
Yeah.
IDOT if we can use one or two
Right.
X funds.
Obviously, my guess would be is that he's got X amount of it left, and he's not asking at this time. Because he's pretty thorough about all of the supplies that he needs. He knows, he's been there long enough now, he knows what he needs to do that work. But if he didn't ask, he and I did not have a discussion about that. I mean, obviously, he didn't either. So we have a motion and a second to approve this request for motor fuel funds for the maintenance for next 14-15. If there's no further discussions, I ask for a roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Sillsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti.
Aye.
Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett. And Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And motion to approve a local agency agreement project, West Belleville Bike Trail Phase 2.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Seibert, second by Alderman Hayden. Discussion. Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Sillsby.
Aye.
Hayden. Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti.
No.
Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett.
No.
Schneider.
No.
Ayes have it.
And motion to approve installation of a street light on an existing pole at the community garden at 95th Street project. Installation of street light on existing pole.
Second move.
Motion by Alderman Seibert, second by Alderman Hayden to approve that additional streetlight request. Because there is a monthly fee, I would ask for a motion by a roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Sillsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
Aye.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Galletti. Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. Communications, you want to read it?
Yes, sir. A request from Metro East Pride asking permission to hold their 7th annual Pride Festival on Saturday, June 21st, 2014, and the closure of West Main Street between 1st and 3rd Streets and 2nd Street from A Street to Washington, as well as the lot behind Egyptian Stationers from 8 a.m. until midnight.
Fair motion to approve.
I move we approve item 12A.
Motion by Alderman
Second,
Kinsella,
Your Honor.
second by Alderman Heisler. Discussion. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to state that I'm wholeheartedly in favor of this, but I will be abstaining from voting due to the fact that I'm on the board of Metro East Side.
I noticed that.
I just wanted people to know that's why I'm not opposed to it in any way, shape, or form.
I guess that's
I didn't hear what
She
you,
said
I didn't hear.
I will not be voting on this. I didn't want it to be construed as anything negative against it. I wholeheartedly support Metro East Pride. I'm on their board. And I realize the council, I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Explanation appreciated, and we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. You might know Alderman Holt, you want to note your name? Okay, that's fine. Anybody else had a name I missed? I'm sorry?
No, I said yes.
Okay. Next item.
The request from the Ancient Order of Hibernian, I don't know.
Hibernians.
I know the word, but it's not coming today.
It's okay.
So I'm sorry. To hold their 12th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 15, 2014, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The parade will assemble in North 3rd and B Streets, proceed south on 3rd Street to West Main, then east on Main, and conclude at Oak Street. They are also requesting barricades from the street department and traffic control from the police department. They respectfully ask that the water in the Veterans Memorial Fountain be dyed green if weather conditions and maintenance schedules permit.
I will tell you right now, I want you to take out the dye green because we will not do that.
That's what I was gonna ask a question, because will it stain, would it stain the concrete?
It messes things up fierce, and we will, this mayor will tell you no.
Motion to approve minus the dye green.
That's very good, because if that's the case, I will ask everybody to vote the whole thing down.
Okay, this Irishman objects to Germans.
It's not that, it's a matter of messing up the system in the fountain and costing a lot of money.
It's a nice idea, but it's not gonna.
If that, you know what though, we'd be doing it for every festival. Everybody, we've already had requests, but we're not going there because, I know Kenny's still, it makes a mess of the pumps. So we have a motion, we have a second, understanding, no dyed green. All in favor of the request minus the dyeing it green, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Petitions we have none. Resolutions, I'd ask for a motion to read by title only. Resolution 3158, 3159, 3160, 3161, 3162, and 3163. Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Schmidt. Okay, please note that we tabled 3162, so please hold that one out, Alderman Silsby. We won't read that one tonight as title only. So all in favor of reading those motions just read with the exception of 3162, and as by title only, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Are any of these motions, these resolutions you want to read together, or are they all separate?
Well, I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, put your head down. My question is on the police command staff policy. We just had this at our table when we came, because it says.
It's the same thing that you had from the chief, the exact same language. It's just been, as we explained the other night, Garrett just had to put it into a format, but it's the exact same. The chief looked over it today. Of that packet he gave all of you, you each got one 2 weeks ago, at least. It's the exact same thing.
Then the only other question is the 3159. It says there was supposed to be an Exhibit A attached, a resolution transferring community development block grant funds that the city of Belleville wishes to proceed with the changes indicated on Exhibit A. Now that one I did not have in my packet.
It was submitted. It is, I believe it's online as well. When I was reviewing the packet online today, I think I remember seeing that.
Is it anybody else having a packet? It's in the packet, Phil's got it.
Is that what you're talking about?
No.
There's something called amend, is it amendment or is it?
Just the third one.
It resolved as found.
It's attached to 3159, resolution 3159.
3158 or 59?
58.
Is it attached to the wrong one?
It's attached to 59.
Okay. Okay, so it's in the packet, it just was inadvertently.
All it does is show the amount that's being transferred, and I'm pretty firm off the top of my head, it's money that was left over from the 23rd Street project.
Being shifted to the First Street project where we need some additional funds to get that done. Because remember, you all approved the sewer separation in that block while we were doing it. That was approved here a couple weeks ago.
That, I think that's 3158. Aren't we talking about 3159?
I'm talking about
They're two different things.
She was
You're
talking about
58, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry too. I was talking about 3159 as well.
talking about 3159 with the amendment number 1.
I'm talking about 3158.
Under number 1, it references an exhibit A, and you don't have exhibit A. That's what I'm saying. Got it.
Okay, so I'm just going to clarify. Is your question still not been answered?
I don't have the exhibit, but Eric said it.
You're okay. So we have a motion to read, what's the first motion here? To motion to pass 3158 resolution?
59.
I have no objection to do.
So if there's no objection, can we go ahead and approve the resolutions together?
And omit 3162.
Omit 3162 because that was tabled. So the motion then, who made the original motion? Alderman Silsby. Who seconded? Seibert. And that's going to be to read, or to approve the motions as a group, 3158, 59, 60, 61, and 63, correct?
Yes.
And we already approved to vote on this title only. Okay. Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Ordinances, I'd have a motion to read by title only, ordinance number 7744. Motion by Alderman Silsby, second. Second by Alderman Anthony. All in favor of reading ordinance 7744 by title only, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Ordinance number 7744, an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of City Administration of the Revised Code of Ordinances of Belleville, Illinois, as amended by adding Section 3.38 thereto concerning compliance with Illinois Freedom of Information Act.
Motion to approve ordinance number 7744. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Silsby, second by Alderman White. Do I hear any discussion? Alderman Holt, first of all.
I just want to say, as somebody who's been a genealogist for going on 4 decades now, I've been in many, many courthouses where I've been told, oh, honey, those records are just in the basement. Go down there and help yourself. So it is not uncommon policy for someone who is an elected official to allow outsiders to look at that. That being said, I have no problem with the way we have written the ordinance.
Well, and our city attorney has advised after it's in there, it is recommended by the municipal league to protect us that no one other than staff should be allowed in private areas to pull information. And now it's in this ordinance if you vote on it tonight, which is already recommended by the state. Okay, Alderman Hayden.
I just want to ask the city clerk if he's comfortable with everything that's in this ordinance.
I think when Mr. Horner brought the ordinance, he did say that it was generic in nature and that it was the recommended ordinance that IML presents to municipalities as to pass to, do their best with the Freedom of Information Act. My only concern at this point is now that we've passed the software and we're going to have that application, I wanted to see if maybe we needed an amendment to the ordinance to state that, we were going to be using the software and that is part of the process. Not that we would ever have an employee who wouldn't follow, what we're asking as far as the use of the software, but just maybe by ordinance to put in there that we're using the software and that upon immediately upon receiving a FOIA, please, scan and enter it into our new software, because that is what we're going to be relying on from now on. And
I think that's a good point. I think Garrett could review that and bring that back to ordinance committee as a possible amendment. It's going to take a little bit to get the software here, get it loaded, get it practiced.
Right. So we could amend.
Yeah, I think
this
that
ordinance
should be added. That should be added to it.
Sounds
So
great.
it's a valid point. Okay.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and we have a second to approve ordinance 7744. Correct? Who did
Right.
second it then?
Mr. White.
White. Okay. All right. Roll call.
Heisler.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt. Ridgewood. Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Silsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti. Musgrove. Orlett. Schneider.
Motion carries. Unfinished business. We have a zoning board of appeals advisory report case 64, December 13th. Peter, how's the last name? Torson. Okay, I didn't want to mess up. Ruler Foods, requesting a special use permit to construct a building larger than 150 square feet in an area that has metal facade at 1703 North Belt West in an AC2 heavy commercial district. applicable portion of the zoning code 60-6-50.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to approve the zoning board's recommendation, have the proper ordinance drawn. Motion by Alderman Rudowitz, who made the second?
I did.
Arlen made the second. Do we have any discussion? Alderman Randall.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to read my statement that I prepared for the meeting a couple weeks ago and was unable to attend.
Okay.
A little over 1 year ago, on January 14, 2013, I appeared before the Belleville City Council Finance Committee as just another resident / citizen of our community. It was at this meeting that I implored the Finance Committee to not approve the request for $200,000 in tax increment financing funds for Kroger Ruler Foods to demolish the former Bel Air Bowl site. I argued that multi-billion-dollar corporations do not need taxpayer assistance. The Finance Committee chose to approve the motion and sent it to the full City Council, where it was approved by an 8-7 vote on February 4, 2013. In effect, the City Council voted to provide TIF funding for the demolition of the Bel Air Bowl building with the expectation a new building would be constructed to facilitate the sale of groceries, produce, and dairy products in a corridor populated by no less than 9 existing stores providing the same services. On December 19, 2013, representatives from Kroger Ruler Foods appeared before the Zoning Board of Appeals requesting a special use permit to construct a building larger than 150 square feet in area that has a metal facade at 1703 North Belt West in a C2 heavy commercial district. I was unable to attend the zoning board meeting on December 19. As I explained to Alderman Ridgewitz when he called me that evening to see if I could attend, I was in the middle of prepping for outpatient surgery the following morning and would not be able to be there. Anyone who's undergone a colonoscopy knows that once you've started the prep, there's no way to stop the process. The prep itself is unpleasant to say the least. The patient is under sedation during the procedure and in most cases feels little to nothing as the exam takes place. It is later, when the sedation has run its course, where you come to realize exactly what took place and why you feel a bit uncomfortable. It is not unlike the feeling I have as a taxpayer about this Kroger Ruler Foods deal, especially now that I'm being asked to vote to give them permission to erect in what is, in my opinion, a pole barn on the corner of a neighborhood where businesses on the side and the homes as well as duplexes behind it are constructed of almost 100% brick. It seems to me the architect in Kroger Ruler Foods should be able to provide a facility where the facade is more in line with the architectural elevation of the surrounding neighborhood. And I would ask my fellow aldermen to deny this request.
Anyone else want to comment? Alderman.
I would like to ask the Alderman to expand on your objection a little bit. Is it the style of the building you're objecting to? Is it the location? Is it the deal we've made, or is it all three?
Well, let me put it in context. I was not in favor of the deal in the first place, which is why I appeared before the Finance Committee imploring them not to use TIF funds for a company that does over $94 billion in sales revenue annually. They don't need our money, okay?
Well,
They don't
say
need,
by Walmart.
they do not need a corporate welfare check. Okay? Secondly, the location itself is in an area to where that entire part of the ward is 100% brick. Not too many years ago, the building was put up 100% brick directly behind that existing bowling alley. It is now occupying a foot specialist, a doctor's office, if you will, is located there. We have attorneys across the street from it. Even the service facility that belongs to Swansea on the corner opposite of it is brick. Century Printing is brick. The entire neighborhood behind it, Farm Fresh, everything back in there is all brick. We do a disservice, okay, to our residents and to their property values when we allow a metal structure to be erected, okay, on that corner, which is a gateway to our community.
Alderman Schmidt.
Do we have a picture of the proposed?
Yes.
Looks like a pole barn.
Looks like a barn out.
Wait a minute, wait till your call, okay?
He was, no, he was at zoning and.
Alderman Schmidt had the floor. And you just burst in. Alderman Schmidt, were you done with your questions or comments?
The other comment was that in our packet? I didn't see that, but someone said.
Was there anything in the packet?
We put one page in there that was 11 by 17, that has a small site plan and a color picture of the facade.
Okay. Alderman Schmidt, it was in the December 19th zoning board of appeals packet. Sure.
And Emily, just refresh me for the group, I don't know if this was raised or not. The zoning board in December passed this unanimously?
The zoning board did pass it unanimously in December, yes.
Okay, and there was no objections that were cited that night? And I think it was brought forward, and there was displays of this shown when the council approved the incentive development agreement many months ago. I remember it very clearly. Alderman Arlett.
I did not approve of that originally. However, from what I've heard from the people on the zoning board, I think they presented a good picture, and I think we need something to happen on that corner, and I think it's a good idea.
We've already approved that something's going to happen. We've already approved the development agreement. You understand, when the council changed the metal facade ordinance, approximately 06 or something like that, roughly, I think it was. 06, or somewhere between 06 and 08, but I think it would be 6 or 7. It was at that time because there was a few things looming out there that were strictly the corrugated all metal. This, if you've seen you had that drawing with you that went forward? If you want to pass that around, that's a pretty good display of the metals that are being used, the colors, and also it's not just a corrugated. We've seen pictures of other ones. Like I said, the zoning board, particularly Roger Wigington stopped me this morning at Chamber and told me that he was, as much as he was too, against this originally, was very much, he made the motion, I believe, at zoning, they told me, to move this forward. It's been looked at. We've had no comments, no concerns to my office from any neighbors or other abutting businesses. I hear the concerns, but we have a business here that you've already approved that is projected to bring in approximately $75,000 to $80,000 a year sales tax. The property tax had been lowered when it was empty for so long, so a new building will definitely increase property tax in that TIF, and you're going to create a few jobs on top of that. So the building, I think, has been empty now approximately 7 years, 7 or 8 years. Gabby?
I might say something there. It's also, they're going to spend $3.2 million, and that'll be construction jobs for union people.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. There'll be a lot of construction jobs as well. Alderman Hayden?
Your Honor, I voted against it initially for the $200,000 TIF handout for the demolition that I felt we could have used to possibly finish South 8th Street in my ward. I also beg to differ that the sales tax that you're talking about, or projected sales tax, I believe is basically going to be siphoned off primarily from other Belleville businesses. I don't believe we're going to see a direct increase in sales tax. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, with the other locally owned stores, from Schnucks to Farm Fresh and Farmers Market, we may see one of the local stores actually potentially pushed out of business with this store. But the point of the matter is we're voting on the variance, and I don't care what anybody says. It's an aluminum structured building sitting there in the corner. It is zoning. The object of zoning is to make sure that the character of the neighborhood is preserved, and this does not fit into the character of the neighborhood.
Some have told me, some of you, the character of the neighborhood is not preserved with the derelict building sitting there either. Alderman Schneider?
Yes, looking at the picture, you see all the lines like you do out in the farm where they store their machinery and that. I think that's where he's called the pole barn. But that just looks like a machinery shop shed, because you see the lines in the metal, but on on what they have, the stuff is flat. So which is it? Is it flat, or does it have all these lines in the sides? And I have a question, how can you have awnings go through this red railing? The awnings come down, it looks like they go through it, unless they go, this goes over the top, or,
That's actually just probably a carryover. It does, the canopy stops right there, either that dark gray and that white. It doesn't carry through the lines.
oh, let's see where I'm going, my picture.
Understand, yeah, that's just a carryover.
And then the side of the building, you see all these lines of the metal?
Yes.
I have to agree with, I've been back there, those houses are all brick, and if I had a building, it would be just like one of those brick houses gets destroyed by fire or a tornado or something, someone says, all right, I'm gonna come in and put a modular home in here. That is completely different than what it looks like. And we would not agree to it because, and some of these modular homes look better than some homes.
Emily, I'd like to ask a question. By law, all the abutting property owners that abut the property had to be notified. Do you remember how many?
I don't recall how many we have in the zoning file down here, but it was quite a few.
And to my knowledge, what I think you told me, no neighbors came, whether they were notified or heard about it, the signs were posted, et cetera. Nobody came to object?
No. But do they realize it's going to be a metal shed? If you got the picture that was in the zoning packet, it was a real little one. And you could not tell what was what.
Okay, Alderman Randall.
Mayor, my intent here, okay, is not to stop construction of a store. What I'd really like to see is them become more in compliance with the architectural integrity of that area. That's what I'm asking for.
Are you proposing an amendment to the motion?
Well, like I said, it passed the zoning board unanimously. They had no repercussions from anyone at that meeting, and it comes forward here tonight with a recommendation to approve their item here that came from the zoning board. So, unless someone's, adjusting something differently, crafting something here, I'm going to ask for a motion to see how you vote on the zoning board's recommendation to approve this variance on this facade improvement. Is that what it is, right, Emily? Not facade, but to approve the variance.
It's special use permit.
Special use permit, I'm sorry. It's been a long meeting, I'm just getting my language correct. There's a motion and a second. Alderman, who made the original motion? Ridgewitz and Arlett made the second to approve the special use permit. I'll call for the vote.
Heisler.
Abstain, and my reasoning is, it's a conflict of interest as I work for a competitor within a mile radius of the proposed business.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
No.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
No.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
No.
Galletti. Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett.
Aye.
Schneider.
No,
I believe the ayes have it. What's your count?
We got 10 to 5, 1 abstain.
Motion carries. We move on. At this time now, we go to the ordinance. I'd ask for a motion to read ordinance 7741 by title only. We have a motion by Alderman Schmidt. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear any discussion on that? All in favor of reading 7741 by title only, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You want to read that one by title only?
Sure. Ordinance number 7741 is on the ordinance in regard to case 64, December 13th, Peter Torreson, Rural Foods, granting a special use permit to construct a building larger than 150 square feet in an area that has metal facade at 1703 North Belt West in the C2 Heavy Commercial District.
Motion by Alderman Ridgewitz to approve 7741, second by Alderman Arlett to approve that ordinance. Any new discussion or further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Heisler.
Abstain.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Holt. Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewitz.
Aye.
Randall.
No.
Anthony.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Silsby.
Aye.
Hayden.
No.
Seibert.
Aye.
White.
No.
Galletti. Musgrove.
Aye.
Orlett.
Aye.
Schneider.
no,
Motion carries, same as the last, I believe it's 10-0. Okay, we move on to miscellaneous and new business. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I put on your desk in the other fellow Alderman desk, and I want to preface to the public so they realize that in media that this is not, as some people like to call grandstanding or poking at you or raising questions from out of the blue. I sent an email to you on 12/12/13 in reference to the Meredith home, and it was never acknowledged or responded to. I sent a follow-up one on 1/3/14. I did get an acknowledgement from your secretary that you had got it, or she had got it and forwarded to you. I don't know when I'm going to get an answer, but I want my feelings noted, so I've given a copy to the city clerk to note this into the record of my position. I don't know if I'll get answers. But I do want to, again, point out to the public that the RFP process for the Meredith home did not go through any proper committee. I do want to note that the statement in the initial RFP that the benefactor must waive use stipulation, and I believe the $500,000 that the developer had to put up front has been changed. Is that correct?
Eric, you made an adjustment after they talked about it, I know that.
Yeah, it was mistakenly put in there that 500,000 was not negotiable. And that was in an original draft, just I put it on there for discussion, and it was decided to take it out. And unfortunately, it was my mistake that it was not taken out of the original submission, but it has been changed.
What about the section that states that the benefactor must waive use stipulation, which basically, in essence, could give the Cook family a right to say they don't like this project?
I think we talked to the city attorney in the conversation about this particular question.
Well, I think we've discussed this in a previous executive session. I would not recommend that you address the city's potential liability in open session.
I do want to ask the city attorney, we have an RFP that states that any potential developer cannot use any public parking. Now, if the developer goes in across the street there, by chance, with the way this RFP is worded, we're actually, in my opinion, discouraging people from wanting to bring a proposal to the city. But if a developer goes in and I put a quarter in the parking meter and go there, what's the penalty?
I don't think that's what we're saying. I think what we're saying is that this building has always had a parking concern, and City Hall parking behind City Hall is our City Hall patrons for the business at City Hall, so it cannot be assumed that that building could come over here even though it's city property. I think what we're just trying to say is there is a parking challenge, a lack of parking with that property. It has to be part of the discussion of the proposal that we're going to address parking.
You are correct. But then again, the way that is worded, it is discouraging potential development. Every downtown business is basically dependent on public parking in some way, shape, or form. So why, when we're trying to bring in something new, would we want to put clauses in an RFP that would discourage people wanting to, the $500,000, and this raises another question to the city attorney. Once we put out the RFP, and now we've modified it, do we need to actually put out a new public RFP in the paper? Because there's maybe some people that initially saw this RFP when we advertised it, did the initial look, seen these stipulations, especially the $500,000, and said, I'm going to walk away.
Well, I'm assuming that the original RFP was posted on the website, and I would imagine that if it was revised, then the version that remains posted on the website was likewise revised?
The revision is the one that's on the website.
You know, we don't want to confuse a request for proposal to a competitive bidding requirement if it were a circumstance where there are no publication requirements, and there are no newspaper publication requirements for requests for proposals. You can direct them to individuals without publishing it, but if you know, it's up to you whether or not you want to publish it again, but I know that it remains posted on the, according to Eric, it remains posted on the website with the revised version.
It's been shared with other groups too, right, Eric?
Right.
I mean, we're not trying to hinder this thing, but I mean, and thus far, no one's really been at my door except some of the local people who've wanted to get in and see the building again, or maybe for the first time, but we've been, except for the state group that came in to evaluate some things, have we had anybody else through it so far, Eric?
I've got 2 scheduled walkthroughs.
Okay, that's great.
I mean, I just want, and again, I want to enter this into the record, John, and again, I'm not stating that this is your intent, I don't believe anybody's had this intent, but it has created some serious concern with those people within the city that have communicated to me that we're pushing to save this building, not only as a way to bring revenue into the city and an anchor to the downtown, but also with the historical perspective. And the fact that it didn't go through committee, wasn't approved by the city council, and with these concerns they've raised, I just want the public to know that where I stand on it, because I'm going to tell you what was communicated to me by one person, and basically their sentiment and feelings was that basically that the city is just going through a process, going through a charade, so we can just delay to get to the budget, so we can add money to the demolition count, and that's out there, Mayor, and we need to give these people the respect and integrity that they deserve, let them know that we're serious about trying to do this.
I will tell you as serious, as sure as I'm sitting here, I am very hopeful that somebody comes up to have a serious discussion about developing the property. I think it would be grand if we could do something with it, but as I said many times, there are limits and there are dollar limits that the city, I think, has to be aware of. So far, we've seen no proposals. If someone wants to come in and have a serious conversation, we will go into executive session and we will share it with all of you, and we will discuss how far we want to try to go then. But I will tell you, we do have an obligation, and I think Mr. Harder has made that clear. Mr. and Mrs. Cook have agreed to give us some time. Okay, we won't need to do it. Okay.
Can we talk about this in executive session this evening, or do we need to advertise that we're going to talk about it at
Yeah, it could be on litigation. So I would just suggest anything for the.
Yeah, I was just saying, from that part, I just wanted to specifically.
Okay, so that was all under miscellaneous and new business.
I'm sorry, I have a couple of questions on new business. A merchant brought to my attention today some of the temporary carts that we've had. We talked about it a little bit one time. And it's still sitting there, a coffee selling temporary cart in Sullivan's parking lot.
Well, that's in their own parking lot, and it is theirs.
Okay, but just, we talked about it was one other part of town, but that we really don't have any ordinances.
Well, we have an itinerant merchant ordinance,
Okay.
and that was the design a number of years ago, that people just couldn't plop up on any corner with really, in a sense, either no permission or virtually just plopping up and starting to sell various items. That would be in competition with anyone, but if it's your own business, you know, it's not to say that you can't utilize in certain conditions, and there's some things there. I never really gave that one. I just noticed, I might be slow on the draw, but I didn't realize in the longest time that was even down there. I don't know how much active it is. I'm not sure they're doing anything anymore either. Yeah, okay, but I'm with you.
But this merchant was just, expressing the opinion that it is, you know, somebody who takes a risk and puts a brick and mortar business.
Believe
up.
me, I'm with you, I'm very.
Can we, as on ordinance and legal, revisit what we've gotten?
You can revisit anything when we have. We did the itinerant, I pushed for the itinerant merchant to be discussed because merchants were coming to us complaining that while they were investing in bricks and mortar and paying insurance and taxes, that these things were popping up in different locations and they had not near the investment and they were cutting into their customer base. And that's why we did the itinerant merchant ordinance a number of years ago. And then there was an outcry, as you remember, from a few people about, I'll give the example of Keller Corn. But then that was particularly, I was crucified over Keller Corn. But we worked that out with the Ace Hardware out there. They kind of came to the rescue, and he's got a contract with Keller now. He leases it's a part of their, and they worked that out to meet the itinerant merchant guidelines. And it's just not a fly-by-night where somebody comes, pulls a truck on the corner of any street corner and sells. And we were getting a lot of that. And I think my stance was several years ago, we don't want to become known. Yet I was criticized by some, and some of you were criticized too, because we established such an ordinance that did more tightly regulate things, that was more respectful to our businesses that had bricks and mortar. So, I mean.
Can I ask the city attorney if he would look over what we've got and see if you think we need to do anything different?
Certainly.
Okay, I appreciate that. What is the story of the Washington sidewalk? I feel like we just keep talking about it and nothing's happening.
I still have not talked to the business owner yet, so still waiting to hear from him.
Okay,
He
can
has
you
not.
nudge him again?
Yeah.
Okay. And I wanted to talk to you about cleaning the sidewalks in front of businesses on Main Street of snow before we had streets cleaned of snow.
Now, first of all, you had every snow plows didn't come to a rest because we tried to be mindful of downtown. Understand with downtown, with some of what we created by our own design with the bump outs and that, there's a lot less places to push the snow because you have bump outs for dining and everything, and you can't just bury them over the railings and bend them and everything. So we had to get in there with 14 inches of snow and remove it. But that was the maintenance department and the parks department, which are not driving the snow plows. So we were not any less snow plows on the street unless there was one broke down, which there were several on and off. So that was a process. The other thing we did downtown, and there was a reason for it, the inlets, there was a number of stores who had large amount, once it started to thaw on Thursday, Friday, there was a number of businesses that called City Hall that were being flooded in the basement because of when it started to melt with that large amount, there were some backups in some of the inlets. So we came in there, and once we scooped the snow away from a couple different locations on Church Street and several things, but a couple of the businesses had a couple inches of water in the basement. That was directly, indirectly from the snow being piled up. So we assisted.
I understand that, but Mayor, when I'm getting a call that a woman in labor cannot get out of Dawn Heights because it hasn't been.
Well, now, I'll tell you what, we did those type of emergency things, and you called my office about that, or you called Chuck specifically, because we would not have, we'd have had a snowplow out there. We had two people on dialysis. We went straight out there. We had an OR nurse who was called in from one of the hospitals. We went out and helped with that. We were very prepared. Now, you can't be all things to everyone, but on emergency situations, we acted clearly quickly. Jim Schneider and several of the staff helped me. We had an abundance of calls came to my office for senior citizens needing help, but it was mostly sidewalks or alleys or driveways or things. We called churches. Jim's group pitched in his office, and we called churches, and we had a great result of area citizens pitching in, helping individuals help each other, which was a phenomenal thing that we're going to kind of explore for the future if we have such a case. I will tell you, no serious situation was turned down or ignored. And the people who were doing things downtown, and understand, downtown, the right-of-way to downtown for the sidewalks and that, they all are all ours. They're, it's a little bit different, they go up to the buildings. So if there's problems or lawsuits, we're drug into them. But when the snow was piled up and we had water coming in basements and we had no place for people to go, and you had, we didn't take anybody off the snow plows to do what they did. We had sanitation workers the first 3 days that couldn't pick up trash. The first couple days, they were downtown helping with some of the shoveling at the library, City Hall, and some of the public access areas as well. Believe me, we were very careful. I think they did a great job, but we weren't doing anything wrong, and nobody was being shortchanged because we prioritized downtown. That's not true. Anybody else? Ask for a motion for motor fuel claims in the amount of $33,461.89. This motion?
Yes.
Motion by Glenny, second by Seibert. Any discussion? Roll call.
Heisler. Aye. Kinsella. Aye. Holt.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Ridgewood.
Aye.
Randall. Anthony. Davidson. Sillsby. Hayden. Seibert. White. Galletti.
Aye.
Musgrove. Orland. Schneider.
Aye.
Everybody cast their vote?
Okay, let's roll.
May I
Motion
make a
carries. Yes.
If we're going in executive session, may I make a suggestion that we can have a little break? Restroom break.
Let's first of all give me a motion and I'll make that determination. Motion to go in executive session for the specified reasons of discussing personnel litigation and property acquisition. Do I hear a second?
I will.
Second by Alderman Schneider. All in favor of going into executive session for those reasons signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will take about a 4-minute break here to have a rest stop and then we'll reconvene. Chief, can you stick around just a second?